Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Crystal Hill here with an author spotlight, and today I'm talking to ghostwriter Laura Fox. Now, Laura, ghostwriting is an interesting profession to get into, so I'm curious to just start off with how you decided that you wanted to be a ghostwriter.
Well, the first thing I've got to say is that I love books. It's my favorite way to learn is to really get deep into a book and really see things from the author's perspective because when you're reading a book, you spend so much time with them. And so there's all these teachers that I've been seeing online and I see their videos, I see their courses, and I keep thinking, when are they going to write a book? And I keep circling back to their websites, looking for the book, waiting for it to come out. And meanwhile, I was doing other kinds of writing work, editing, and I was writing resumes and LinkedIn profiles for people and things. And someone asked me to edit her book, but what she gave me wasn't written up. It was just a lot of notes. And so I said, "Well, do you want me to just write this for you?" And she said, "Yeah, that would be great." So I started writing it, and it was so much fun. It reminded me of when I was in grad school, and I would gather up my notes at the end of the class and write the paper. And I enjoyed it so much, and it was so fulfilling to be able to make this book happen for her when she didn't have time to do it herself. And so I decided to look around for more projects like that. I realized, yeah, this is ghostwriting, and I've been doing
Hmm.
that ever since for a couple of years now, and I just really love it. And
I love
yeah.
the Sorry to interrupt. I love these accidental findings, right?
Yeah.
You had no plans of becoming a ghostwriter, but it's like the universe has presented it to you saying, here is a project that is like ghostwriting. Why don't you do that? And then you love it so much, and then you decide, okay, this is what I love doing. So if people who like a lot of people that I come across as a publisher, they're very precious about their work and very concerned, even with editors coming in. Like, what if my voice isn't honored? What if the content is completely changed? What would you say to them? So if somebody has no time, they know they've got this book in them, but they're hesitant to handing their work over to a ghostwriter, what would you say to them?
Well, it does take time to establish a relationship and build trust, and for them to be comfortable with the idea that their voice is going to come through somebody else's fingers. And I do take time with interviews to really get to know their voice. And it is a little bit like channeling somebody who is still alive, or I call it being a ventriloquist on the page sometimes. But um, yeah, it's definitely a skill to be able to write in somebody else's voice, but it is so important to get the voice right so that it's definitely the author's own work. And I've had
Mm.
authors, I've had somebody cry. Uh, she was so grateful, because it was something that she had never been able to put into words on the page, and I understood what she was getting at, and I wrote it out for her, and she said, "Oh, it's just so beautiful. Thank you for helping me find my voice on the page."
Wow, I love that. Yeah, it certainly takes a deep empathy and the ability to put yourself into somebody else's shoes. It's almost like a ghostwriter is what an actor is on the stage. You are on the page.
Exactly.
You're bringing
Yes.
somebody else alive, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. Yes. Now you are in Beyond Coincidence, this book that that's still open for enrollments. We have 10 incredible writers in it, and we are open for no, actually today. But if you're listening to this and you're dropping into my inbox, you can come in the next 2 days. We can still see if we can fit you in. So Laura, I'd love to hear what attracted you to this book.
Well, when I read about the book and the description, and I thought about things that have happened in my own life that are really not coincidences, are they? And I realized that I have all these stories that I've never written, never told anyone, and it just seemed like this book would be the perfect container for one of those stories.
Hmm. Yes, beautiful. And when we were talking, I was saying like, how does sharing these stories, how does that serve your business? Because for me, it's really important that everybody who comes into the book not just gets a benefit for themselves personally, but also in a deeper way. Like everybody needs to get something really important out of them. And sometimes it's personally just to get clarity, write ourselves into clarity. A lot of the time it's, I want to expand my business, I want to become more visible. And so when I asked you, how does telling a story, a personal story, how does that relate to you getting business exposure? You gave me a really good answer, so I'd love you to share that answer.
Okay.
What
Well,
was
in
your
my work as
addiction? Yeah.
in my work as a ghostwriter, it's really important to get the authors I work with to tell their personal stories in their books, because your book is really you. It's not just what you know. It's what you've experienced, but it's more than that. It's your perspective, and readers really want to get a feel for you, and that's what you do when you write your personal stories. So I thought writing my personal story in this book, Beyond Coincidence, is a way to demonstrate my skill in writing the kind of stories that I write for my authors.
Mm. It's such a beautiful opportunity and framework to come in and to do exactly that. And in the process, inspire the readers also to look at their stories, right, and their life, and realizing that everybody has a story to share.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be, this is, I did a thing yesterday, a reel, that we still have that perception of authors needing to be, authors are people who are influencers, authors are people that have achieved something or gained a certain status. But what you're saying and what I'm advocating as well is that every story matters, because stories hold healing codes. They hold, when we see a theme that we're grappling with reflected back to us in the story of another person, that can
Yeah,
be such a powerful thing for healing, for changing our perspective around something. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I was so grateful and happy that you're bringing that perspective into the book.
I'm really excited to be part of it, and I'm really glad to be in this book. It's going to be so wonderful.
Yes, it will be. It will be, especially because what we focus on is what we get, and where attention goes, energy flows. And so for me, this book is very much about all of the authors, all of the contributors, to increase the synchronicities that we are attracting into our lives, because we're really focusing on where is that already here, and then that can amplify and increase that even more in our lives. So that's one of the side benefits that I'm extremely excited about as well.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you for your time today, Laura, and for sharing a little bit about who you are. And if anybody's out there that would like to reach out to you because they don't have the time to write a book, but they feel that you might be somebody that could bring their words onto the page, where is the best way that they can find you?
Well, they can find me on my website. It's at gurusghost.com.
Wonderful. Gurusghost.com. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for those of you who are listening. Thank you for being here. I'm just sending blessings to this beautiful book. May it find those who need to come into it. And also, once we have it out there, may it come into the hands of the people who are ready to really take their lives into their own hands, to co create with the universe, and to call in those synchronicities, because that is really my heartfelt intention with this book. So thank you,
Yes.
everyone, for being here.
Yes. Thank you so much, Chris.